the terribly grotesque and ghoulish, those are other people's words, not mine, of the abortion expansion bill in a state where it's already epidemic. And to talk about the fact that a baby born alive who survives an abortion, the doctor's under no legal, does not have any legal expectation to save that baby's life. Now a doctor isn't even necessary. I thought this was supposed to be about women's health, conscience rights of people who oppose it, that it can be done right up to the moment of birth. This is hideous, all right? And I simply, this isn't a Catholic issue. This is an issue I quoted yesterday. I don't know if you saw it. Do you remember Governor Robert Casey, a progressive, liberal, Democratic governor of Pennsylvania who was very pro-life? And they said, well, you're just pro-life because you're Catholic. He said, I didn't learn that abortion was wrong from the catechism. I learned it in my biology class, and I learned it when I was studying the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States about the civil rights.
You mentioned civil rights at the end of your article.
This is a civil rights issue. It's not an issue of the catechism. It's an issue of civil rights. And not only to have this ghoulish law passed, but then to celebrate it. You could say, and I mean, I'd still find it abhorrent, but you could see where people might say, abortion is tragedy all the time, and boy, it's deeply regrettable, and let's try our best to work at some good compromises where we could limit it, but it's deeply regrettable. To celebrate it, to have parties, to light up the Twin Towers here. Twin Towers, by the way, have you heard? Twin Towers is right at the site of 9/11.
Right. You mean the One World Trade, the One Tower.
One World Trade, or right at the 9/11 site. At the 9/11 site, they list all those who lost their lives at 9/11, among whom are 11 unborn babies. Wow. Who, because their pregnant mothers, were killed in 9/11.
And they're inscribed in the marble.
We're supposed to pop champagne corks over this bill. Yeah. This just, I thought, my God. Supporting it's bad enough, but to grin about it and toast one another and celebrate it, I just think it's a tough day. I'm eager to talk to Dr. Cuomo a little later, because I've always maintained, and I think we talked about it last time, that defending the civil rights of the baby in the womb is really kind of a liberal, progressive issue. Or is it the definition of a progressive to give voice to those who have none, to speak up for people about whom? Governor Cuomo, he gave us bishops a great compliment once. This had to be about 7-8 years ago. We meet with him, as we used to. And he said, bishops, we disagree on some things, but I'm glad you're here. And every other group that I come in, they speak for issues that they want me to work with that's going to benefit them. He said, you come in and speak about issues that are going to benefit other people, mostly those who are poor and have nobody else to speak for them. I was thrilled by that compliment from Governor Cuomo. Yeah. Well, among them happened to be the unborn baby, okay? Yeah. So it's a sad week, and it's not the way I want it.
Right, but I mean, when I was, another layer of this for me is that a lot of Catholics were kind of calling out, what can we, certainly pointing at you, why don't you do something? And I thought to myself, last week we had somebody on the show whose full-time job it is to do nothing but advocate at the state level for pro-life issues, among all the other issues that we advocate for.
So you can't win, because on the one hand, the left is criticizing me, led by the governor. On the other hand, the far right is criticizing me, because they said, that Dolan, he's too conciliatory. Right. He ought to get rid of the governor. He ought to excommunicate him. He ought to punish him. Come on now. That would be completely counterproductive, right? Especially if you have a governor who enjoys this and who wants to represent himself as kind of a martyr to the cause, doing what is right. He's proud to dissent from the essentials of the faith. He's proud with these positions. For me to punish him for him, he would just say, look at the suffering that this prophet has to undergo for this. This is ridiculous. I say to the people, too, I said, what are you all looking at Daddy here? You better do something. You do something, okay? I don't have much clout. Some fat, balding Irish bishop talking about defending the church and talking about how hideous this abortion bill is. They're going to say, ho-hum, they have to feel that way. You get committed, thoughtful, compelling lay people who are speaking up. They got votes, folks. Yeah. You ask me this. You answer me this, all right? I'll ask, you answer. Would Governor Cuomo have lashed out at the Jewish community, the Islamic community, the gay community, the African American community, with the vitriol that he took on the Catholic Church. He wouldn't for a second. And if he did, they wouldn't take it, and I'd be marching with him, okay? Right. Catholics, fair game, all right? Yeah. And the only reason is those people who speak up, our folks usually don't. So there's the problem. Don't yell at me. Look at yourselves. You're the only ones that can do it, okay? Because his pollsters have shown, Governor, this position is popular. This position is going to win you votes. Until our people say it's going to lose you some too, I don't think people are going to listen.